Welcome to the Journal Editorial Report. I'm Paul Gigot. Well, as the long-awaited Hillary Clinton emails finally begin to trickle out, we're learning more about just who was advising her during her time at the State Department. Longtime confidant and Clinton Foundation staffer Sidney Blumenthal sent at least 25 memos to Clinton on Libya, including several on the 2012 attack in Benghazi. And we learned from the Wall Street Journal this week that Clinton's staff at the State Department, including Chief of Staff Cheryl Mills, scrutinized and sometimes blocked the release of politically sensitive documents requested under the Freedom of Information Act. For more, I'm joined by Wall Street Journal Potomac Watch columnist Kim Strassel, Main Street columnist Bill McGurn, and Manhattan Institute senior fellow and Journal contributor Jason Riley. So, Kim, tell us, what's the most important takeaway you get from this week's news?
It's that Sidney Blumenthal appeared to be running State Department business, or at least helping Hillary Clinton in a capacity that nobody knew about, and in all kinds of ways that bring up some very big concerns. I mean, here's this man from her past. He is not only getting paid by the Clinton Foundation,
right.
He's getting a salary from them. He's getting paid by outside groups that are helping set the path for Hillary's presidential bid. He's advising a group that's trying to get business in Libya, and he's sending these secret emails.
This is private business. This isn't U.S. official business. This is private business.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes. At the same time that he is putting things in Mrs. Clinton's ear about the events in Libya. So this is a very tangled web, and we're not quite sure who's benefiting from it or if anyone is, but there's a lot of questions to be asked.
Yeah, this is really weird, Jason. I mean, he's advising, telling the Secretary of State, who has this whole intelligence operation at her disposal, to tell her about Libya and foreign countries. He's saying, here's what's really going on in Libya, and I know because I'm a half a world away in the United States.
Let's keep in mind, Sidney Blumenthal is someone Hillary was banned from hiring to help her at
by the Obama White House.
The Obama administration said, no, you cannot hire him.
In an official capacity.
In an official capacity.
Right.
So again, this is Hillary Clinton thinking the rules do not apply to her. And there is an open question, I think, deserving of a criminal investigation as to whether Sidney Blumenthal is being paid by foreign governments to whisper into the ear of Hillary Clinton, to write memos. I think that is worthy of investigating.
And she was taking those memos and distributing them to the State Department, sometimes by stripping out the provenance, where they came from.
Right.
So that, her real chief of staff was distributing them, saying, yeah, this is interesting, follow up, or so on and so forth.
I don't think this was weird, as you say. I think it's very logical. I think it's very logical for the Clintons.
You think that the rest of the government normally works this way?
For the Clintons.
Okay.
This is standard operating procedure. I think if you step back from the weeds, they always suck us into these debates. Who was Sidney Blumenthal working for? Did they report this speech on their IRS form and so forth? The larger thing here is the mechanics are the message. She went into this job determined to use private email, put it on a server in her living room. We see there's a reason for that, and it has to do with the intertwining of Hillary's political ambitions, the Clintons' personal wealth, and other goals of the Clinton Foundation. It's all a mix, and I think they deliberately built a structure that allowed them to get away with these things.
I should add, Jason, that Sidney Blumenthal has not said, talking publicly so far, but he has said, his lawyer has said, he will cooperate with the investigation.
But we do know all these emails were not about, Chelsea's wedding plans,
yoga
routines. Yes.
Sidney's a yoga expert. Hey, give this for Sidney. He knew that the YouTube video was just a cover for a planned Al-Qaeda attack. So, half a world away, he knew something, contrary to the Obama line.
Kim, fill us in on this. Go ahead, Kim.
No, but this brings up a really good point, which is that the only reason we probably know about these Blumenthal emails is that Mr. Blumenthal's account was hacked a couple of years ago by a hacker, and these emails were put up online, and therefore it was discovered he'd been emailing Hillary Clinton. Would we have ever been told about these emails otherwise? Would she have deleted them along with the rest? And how many others has she deleted?
Okay, and those are all very good questions. Now tell us, Kim, about Cheryl Mills, Chief of Staff for the Secretary when she was at that state, and senior staff vetting Freedom of Information Act requests. How unusual is it for senior staff to do that at an agency?
It's a huge no-no, and I would phrase it as controlling information out of the State Department, which we now know this is what Hillary Clinton was all about from the moment she stepped foot at State Department. But Cheryl Mills, again, another person like Sidney Blumenthal, blast from the Clinton past. She's been around forever, followed Mrs. Clinton to the State Department, and we now know that she was telling, you know, departments like this have public records experts. It is their job to look through these FOIA requests and decide what complies with the law, what can be released. We now know Mrs. Mills was going in on top of them, making her own decisions about it, and moreover saying that if they release documents that she said no about, that Mrs. Clinton's office would no longer comply with disclosure requirements.
Will there be any ramifications for this, Kim, or is this just one of those things that, okay, you know, not improper behavior, but it goes away?
It seems to fall once again into that gray area that the Clintons thrive in, where you can't necessarily, if you can't get them with a felony, then they're supposedly, according to them, it's no big deal.
Now, Jason, to the credit of the media, they've reported this, a lot of this stuff, breaking this stuff. But it's interesting to me that the liberal commentariat, the people who kind of, you know, comment on if Republicans were doing this, they'd be all over it. They've been studiously silent on this. Is she going to get away with it?
I think they're counting on a couple things. One is that no one's paying attention right now. Yes, political junkies are. Yes, the media is. But the public, voters in general,
sure,
they're not tuned in right now. They're also have going for them that no other Democrat has stepped up and complained about what's going on with Hillary Clinton. So she can dismiss all of this as simply right-wing nonsense.
Why not?
Well, again, maybe they're intimidated by the Clinton machine, people coming back after them. I don't know, but I don't think that's going to last. I think at some point a Democrat will stand up and say, listen, folks, Hillary Clinton is damaged goods. We need to start looking at alternatives.
And her trust ratings are taking a big hit. I think in the poll now, about 25% trust Secretary Clinton.